All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace, love, and salutation to all you Akim that's pushing this truth and true sincerity. And I'm just going to break down really brief because there's so much that pertains to the tribe of Ephraim, which are you so-called Puerto Ricans. This is only part one because there's just so much more. This is a little preview. So I'm going to start off in Genesis 49 and 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. Now, Joseph is synonymous with Numbers 1 and 32. Of the children of Joseph, namely the children of Ephraim. Okay, Ephraim means I am fruitful. The Hebrew word is aparium. Okay, Ephraim in the Hebrew means aparayum, which means I am fruitful. So Joseph is synonymous with Ephraim. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by the generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Ephraim, were 40,500. So the so-called, so-called Cubans are from the tribe of Manasseh. All right, now let's get Revelation 7 just to back that up. Revelation 7 and verses 8. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. These are the Israelites that were sealed, the elect. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. Are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Uruguayans, Brazilians, Peruvians, Argentinians, Chileans, blacks, okay, Haitians, West Indians? All right, you're children of God. All right, you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. So it's a high time to repent. That's why we got to go back and do these breakdowns to let our people know who we are, because like Apostle Bar says, there's new people listening every day. Now, the tribe of Manasseh, are you so-called Cubans. And I'm going to just get this in Genesis 48. I think I'm going to go to, I had it written down. Give me one sec. Genesis 48 and 1. The previous chapter. Genesis 41. Yes, I think it's Genesis 41 and 52, if I'm not mistaken. Genesis 41 and 52. Genesis 41, the sons of Joseph. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine. Now the Pharaoh had a dream, and Joseph interpreted, and it was concerning the famine. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of his firstborn Manasseh, which means made to forget. All right, Manasseh in the Hebrew, which are you so-called Cubans. For the Most High said, He have made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Verse 52, in the name of the second child, I'm a little excited. In the name of the second called he Ephraim, Aparayam, which means I am fruitful. For the Most High have caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction, which was Egypt. Okay, so Joseph had Ephraim and Manasseh. So going back to Genesis 48, let me type it in. Genesis 48. Genesis 48 and verse 1. Now Israel, all right, is synonymous with Jacob. Okay, because he fought the angel in what, Genesis the 32nd chapter, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel, which means he is the prince of the power. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick, and he took with him two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Okay, so let's jump down to verse 5. And now thy two sons Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. So basically, all right, these are the sons of Joseph. But what Jacob was saying is they're part of the 12 tribes, just like Reuben and Simeon are. Okay, they shall be mine. They're going to be part of the tribes. They're going to be part of the Genesis, the 49th chapter. Okay, when Israel tells his 12 sons what will befall him, which basically are the descendants, okay, of the 12 tribes will befall them in the last days. All right. So let's go down to verse 14. All right. Verse 12. And Joseph brought them out between his knees, Ephraim and Manasseh, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward his father's left, and Manasseh in his left hand toward his father's right. And he brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, which was the eldest, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Yeah, he was the oldest. And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the power which fed me all my life long unto this day. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, because Joseph thought the right hand was going to go on Manasseh, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head into Manasseh. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. So, Joseph was like, well, Father, you made a mistake. Genesis 48:19. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He said, not so fast, my friend. All right, I know what I'm talking about. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. That don't mean they're going to give birth to Edomites and Moabites and Ammonites. It means that the so-called Puerto Ricans from the tribe of Ephraim will be fruitful. Okay, you got Puerto Ricans in California, Texas, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Massachusetts, just everywhere, man. You got Puerto Ricans here in this godforsaken city called Atlanta, Georgia. You sure as hell got Puerto Ricans down there in Miami, all over Florida, okay? Florida, Miami, Florida, Tampa, West Palm, you name it, man. All the way down there in Florida, man. Texas. Man, there's Puerto Ricans everywhere, man. All right, so Ephraim will be greater than his older brother Manasseh, all right? And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh, because, this is only part one. When you go into, when the kingdoms were split, okay, after Solomon, it was Judah and Israel. It was Judah and Ephraim. But Ephraim is synonymous with Israel, okay? Ephraim is the head tribe or the northern kingdom. It wasn't Manasseh. Okay. So let me get this right here. Let me go back to that Genesis 49 and 22. Joseph Okay, synonymous with Ephraim. Al-Pariyam, I am fruitful, is a fruitful bow. Now let's get these words right here. Now, the word Joseph means in the Hebrew is Yawasap, which means to add, is a fruitful bow. Let's get this word bow. Now that word is not Ben, like you not like the Israel United in Christ. They give themselves them Yiddish names. Malachi ben Israel. No. It's Malachiah ban Yasha'Allah. Okay? And don't believe this guy, the IUIC. That's you speaking Ebonics. No. That's the Lashon Kodash. That's the ancient tongue that's spoken of in the heavens, man. This word is bon, all right, which means son. Okay. Joseph is a fruitful son. All right. Let's get this word fruitful. Now that word is para, which means to bear fruit, to be fruitful. Okay. Let's get this definition of fruitful. Let me see. Producing, this is the best definition. Producing offspring, especially in abundance. And that's what so-called Puerto Ricans do. Okay? Now, I want to get this article right quick. Now, this is like a little PDF. We don't have to get into the whole book. Fertility of the Puerto Rican origin population, mainland United States and Puerto Rico, 1970. Here's the introduction from A.J. Jaffe and Ruth M. Cullen, party to Amalekites. All right. It has been commonly assumed that Puerto Rican women, both here on the mainland, the United States, as well as on the island of Puerto Rico, have high fertility. Now let's look at the word fertility. All right. The condition, quality, or degree of being fertile, the birth rate of a population. Okay. Let me see if I can get a better definition. There we go. Fertility from the Wikipedia. Fertility in colloquial terms refers the ability to have offspring. Okay? So that goes into I am fruitful, man. All right? Now you think about Bad Bunny, he's a so-called Puerto Rican. Carmelo Anthony, he's a so-called Puerto Rican. Maxwell, the R&B singer, he's not black. Okay? He's a so-called Puerto Rican from the Tribe of Ephraim. Jennifer Lopez, she's from the Tribe of Ephraim. There's so many more Puerto Ricans I can even mention, man. Hopefully some more come to my mind. Carlos Arroyo, all right, the basketball player. He played on the Puerto Rican team. They beat the United States team back in the early 2000s. He's from the Tribe of Ephraim. All right, Tego Calderon, he's from the Tribe of Ephraim. Reggaeton, that's one of those Puerto Rican things, man. That reggaeton, man, it was going in back in the day, man. That's not a lie. It was going in back in the day, man. These are the descendants of Ephraim, what today is known as the so-called Puerto Ricans, because according to Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, we would be known as a proverb and a byword. Excuse me. So Puerto Ricans mean rich port, okay. And even when you look on the map, I wanted to bring something out. When you look at the map, well, we get into that. Now, this devil, Esau, always has a way of trying to do trials on our people. Like being guinea pigs. You had the Tuskegee experiments. Even today, with that juice that came out in 2020 and 2021, our people always been the guinea pigs because Esau knows that we're the chosen people of God. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Matter of fact, let me get this preset, man. Genesis 27. Let me go down to 41 if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Genesis 27 and 41. And Esau, the progenitor of the self-proclaimed white race, because Esau goes back to the word Ishashwa, which means wasted away as he. Ishashwa in the Hebrew, hated Yaiquab, okay, which means supplanter in the Hebrew, the progenitor of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. Because Jacob supplanted Esau for the blessing. It's written. There's nothing you can do about it, Esau. And that's why you see these elites trying to bring about their so-called New World Order, because they know they didn't effed up, okay? And the blessing is not for them, okay? They just got the fatness of the earth and the blessing of the sword, okay? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father Isaac are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And we see that happening today, even with eugenics, man. All right, that's a form of slaughter. Okay, contraceptives, birth control, Planned Parenthood, abortion clinics. That's part of Esau trying to slay his brother Jacob. But you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans aren't paying attention to what's going on spiritually. Contraceptive trials in Puerto Rico. The first large-scale human trial of the birth control pill was conducted by Gregory Pincus. Looked like an Amalekite. And John Rock. They ain't got his face. In 1945 in Puerto Rico, before the drug was approved as safe in the mainland United States, many Puerto Rican women were used as test subjects because they're fruitful, they're fertile. These trials are a major component in the history of the development of female oral contraceptives, occurring in between initial small trial testing on the East Coast and the release of the drug for public consumption. As a result, women gained more independence as they were able to delay pregnancies. Man, that goes all to that feminism, man. I can do bad by myself. I don't need a man. Well, we'll see what happens in these last days, women. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. The trials are controversial because the Puerto Rican women were uninformed of the potential health. And that's Esau the devil for you. He's not going to, hey, just take this. He probably threw him a few extra dollars. Not telling you the side effects, okay? The Puerto Rican women were uninformed of the potential health and safety risks of the drug. There was a large amount of criticism coming from feminist circles surrounding the trial, which they don't give it. You know, the feminism was started by these Amalekites, man. All right, and the CIA. All right, all them feminist movies was started by the government, man. Okay. And Aaron Russo brought out in his interview with what's that guy's name, man? Damn, I forgot his name. Damn. Basically, he mentioned that women were brought into the work field so they can be taxed, and they can separate the families. That's what the Rockefellers were known for doing. Okay, when you really look at it. So all that feminism that you women get, this is a little side note. It came from your so-called beloved government. Okay, now you're just totally gone and they got you where they want you to be. But this ain't about the woman, man. This is about the tribe of Ephraim. All right, and Esau, he knew that these women are fruitful and multiplied and had many children, man. Okay, so let's go back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49 and verses 22. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well. Because when you look at the map of Puerto Rico, it's surrounded by water, man. Okay, you got Bayamon, you got San Juan, and other various places in Puerto Rico is surrounded all by water. All right. Genesis 49 and verses 22. Joseph is a fruitful bowl, Ephraim, even a fruitful bowl by a well whose branches run over the wall. All right. And that goes into the migration of so-called Puerto Ricans from the island of Puerto Rico, all right, to the Estados Unidos, which means the United States in Spanish. So this is from Ancestry.com. Migration, settlement, immigration, the Great Puerto Rican Migration. Okay. Oh, Alex Jones. Now it came to my mind, Salakia. Alex Jones interviewed Aaron Russo about that feminist crap. I just want to say that. Alex Jones. As you can see, you got the Tribe of Ephraim. Looks like New York. In New York, most incoming Puerto Ricans settled in Spanish Harlem. Bear with me for a sec. In Nueva York, aka New York, most incoming Puerto Ricans settled in Spanish Harlem and commuted downtown each day to work in the city's booming factories. Now, this is after the Great Migration of so-called Puerto Ricans was after World War II. By the 60s, more than 1 million Puerto Ricans have migrated to the United States in search of opportunities. So that goes in being fruitful, man. Okay? By the mid-1900s, Puerto Rico's population was booming well beyond the number of jobs available. Because it was just too many people, man. Come on, man. Too many Ephraimites down there. With political unrest at a crescendo and American factories recruiting heavily on the island, more than 1 million Puerto Ricans took advantage of their United States citizenship and affordable air travel and immigrated between 1945 and 1960. So 15 years, man. You know how many Puerto Ricans came to the United States? Some settled across the Midwest and California. Like it's hella Puerto Ricans in California, man. I used to live in California for a little period of time. There's Puerto Ricans there, and they're everywhere. They're and I'm gonna get into a little bit more. They've gone beyond the United States. Some settled across the Midwest and California, but 85% put down roots in New York's city's barrios, which is synonymous for the ghetto. All right, as Brazilians say, the favelas. All right, the urban areas. Distinctly Puerto Rican communities and creative hotspots that spawned the New Yorican literary movement, as well as botanicas. You know, the botanicas, man, you got to worry about those, man, because they got a lot of witchcraft in those botanicas, man. Selling Afro-Caribbean spiritual goods and medicinal herbs, see? The first Puerto Rican Day Parade marched through Manhattan in 1958. So I'm going to ask a Puerto Rican, when was the first year of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, man? If you don't answer it right, I'm going to be looking at them crazy. And continue to grow as more islanders arrived by 1955. More than 700,000 and up to 1 million a decade later. Struggling to learn English, many face discrimination by the devil, probably most likely, and the challenges of high crime and poverty in the boroughs, in the ghettos, man. Going into the curses, man. So you pro-black, back to Africa ninjas, all black people, you know, those are tribe. Nah, bro. You're not going to get anywhere with that. And you're not. But those tight-knit communities also help support their growing presence in the continental United States. Puerto Ricans are considered the first mass migration of mixed racial group, which caused tensions once they reached the mainland. Let's get a precept, man. I think it's Hosea 7 and 8. And this is what the scriptures say. They're not mixed. Well, you might have some Puerto Ricans that their line goes back to Esau, Edom, because you are who your father is, according to Numbers 1 and 18. But this is what the scriptures say concerning the tribe of Ephraim, you so-called Puerto Ricans. Ephraim, Pariyam, which means I am fruitful in the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, have he mixed himself among the people? Ephraim is a cake not turned. Okay, I'm gonna just type up this guy Maxwell, man. Just give you a picture. All right, Ephraim is a cake unturned. So you're gonna have Puerto Ricans, all right, that got the brown skin, somewhat dark skin. Okay, Maxwell is from the tribe of Ephraim, a really talented singer. Hey, that second Maxwell album, Umbrella, man, that's one of my favorites, man. All right, you got Tego Calderon. You got Tego Calderon, somewhat brown skin, almost dark skin. He got the afro, okay, and then you, of course, I think Mark Anthony. I think he's a so-called Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Let's just look it up for fact's sake. Not that guy. Mark Anthony. I guess R&B singer. Singer. Let me see. Let's get this Wikipedia in this guy, man. Yep. Marco Antonio Muniz was born in New York City, the son of Puerto Rican parents. So his parents probably most likely migrated to New York, and then boom. Okay. Now that's a world famous Puerto Rican man. Damn. I'll be forgetting them Puerto Ricans, man. You got Bad Bunny. Let's look up Bad Bunny. Okay. Now you can see Mark Anthony. He's somewhat light skinned, right? So you're gonna have light skinned Puerto Ricans. You're gonna have dark skinned Puerto Ricans. It is what it is. All that racial discrimination crap. All right, they're all so-called Puerto Ricans, man, from the tribe of Ephraim. Bad Bunny, weird ass. He's a Puerto Rican, man. That's another guy, man. Hector Lavoe. Ooh, man, I think he's Puerto Rican. The world famous Hector Lavoe. All right. Now, Mr. El Cantante. Let me see. Hector Juan Perez Martinez, better known as Hector Lavoe, was a Puerto Rican salsa singer. All right, and you so-called Puerto Ricans and you Dominicans and all you other so-called Latinos know about Hector Lavoe. Even us brothers who look like so-called black men, even a so-called black man knows about Hector Lavoe. He's from the tribe of Ephraim. Okay, so Ephraim is a cake unturned. Some of y'all gonna be looking light skinned. Some of y'all gonna be looking dark skinned. Okay. And I'm gonna just end it off. I ain't gonna make this too long. I'm probably going in. Puerto Ricans in the Vietnam War. Okay. Now I mentioned, well, the scriptures mentioned that Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans, and I'm gonna get into part two. There's some more scriptures, but it's a lot coming with Ephraim, man. All right. Puerto Ricans in the Vietnam War. Commencing with World War I, Puerto Ricans and people of Puerto Rican descent have participated as members of the United States Armed Forces because they're territory of the United States. Now, hopefully I can get into the more history of that as well in part two, because it's a lot with Ephraim. It's a lot with all the tribes. It says, commencing with World War I, Puerto Ricans and people of Puerto Rican descent have participated as members of the United States Armed Forces in every conflict in which the United States has been involved. Accordingly, thousands of Puerto Ricans served in the armed forces of the United States during the Vietnam War, also known as the Second Indochina War. Hundreds of them died, either killed in action or while prisoners of war. The Vietnam War started as a Cold War and escalated into a military conflict that spread to Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia from 1959 to April 30th, 1975. And let me just get this right here. So they served in the Vietnam War. So what happens when a tribe called I Am Fruitful goes to Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia? You got Israelite foreigners. Boom. I mean, let's get this precept. Deuteronomy. Hey man, so you pro blacks, man. You guys are finished, man. All right, you guys are done. All right, because you don't have the spirit of prophecy, man. All right, that the Lord has put, starting with our apostles and elders, to give us these breakdowns in the spirit to identify who our people are. Because during this time of this so-called immigration, man, hey man, sometimes you got to put your feelings aside and you got to teach. All right, the northern tribe, man. Even though they look at us crazy, I'm from the northern tribe, but I got brown skin. I'm somewhat between light skin and dark skin. They'll look at you like Negro. No, I'm not from the tribe of Judah. I'm from the tribe of Reuben. All right, which is the so-called Seminole Indians. But you got to put your feelings to the side and then, teach your people who they are, man. Because the elect is out there, man. All right, they're gonna get it. Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord's name is Yahweh. And we can't forget about that. That's the highlight of this lesson. The Lord's name is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Don't listen to IUIC. Okay, don't listen to them jokers. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. Now, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. Puerto Ricans served in the Vietnam War. So what's going to happen when they go to Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, which is Southeast Asia? All right, you're going to have a lot of Southeast Asians, as I've experienced. They're Israelites. I ain't going to say that. That's too personal, but we'll be scattered, man. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So if you let me just get this, and I'm going to close it on now. It was somewhere in here. Let's go down. During the Vietnam War, an estimated 48,000 Puerto Ricans served in the 4 branches of the armed forces. Notable Puerto Ricans who served in the United States military in Vietnam were Admiral Horatio Rivera Jr., Lieutenant Diego E. Hernandez, Salvador E. Felices, so on and so forth. So what do you think happens when so-called Puerto Ricans go to these countries, man? All right, their fruit, their seed are going to be Israelites, man. If they come from their father's line, okay, because it's all about their father's line. All right, so that's basically it. Just part 1 of the Tribe of Ephraim. All right, you so-called Puerto Ricans, you're Hebrew Israelites, man. Come back to the God of the Bible. His name is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. The so-called black man is your brother, okay? The so-called Mexican is your brother, because if you call a Puerto Rican a Mexican, they're going to get mad. That's your brother. The so-called Seminole Indian is your brother. The so-called Native American man, woman, and child is your brother. All the 12 tribes. The so-called Cubans, all right, are your brothers. The so-called Dominicans are your brothers. The so-called West Indians are your brothers. The so-called indigenous people of Colombia to Uruguay are your brothers. The so-called indigenous people of Argentina to Chile are your brothers, so on and so forth. So with that, all right, Shalom.